What a pro wants, what a pro needs. Podcast time. I'm Dave. It's Too Much Dip Podcast. How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Good start. Here's a pro, Dylan Shivery.
I'm just looking at the ponies running this weekend, you know? Looking at the ponies.
Yeah.
You got the derbs, the derby.
What are Rashee Rice's odds?
Come on, man. What are you doing? Let's see.
He's fast.
Fierceness. 5-2. Okay.
I don't like that as a pony name. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Not a fan of that.
I don't love any of these names, TBH.
Do we need to do a full name breakdown?
We can if you want.
Why don't you table it?
There's one named Dornick.
Oh.
There you go with him.
Because your name is Dorn.
Right. Which someone called me this weekend at Deep Eddy Cabaret.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Lady or guy?
It's a young man.
Cool or no?
I didn't talk to him beyond like, hey, what's up, man? But yeah, I mean, if he knows who I am, he's got to be at least pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
okay.
Glad to be here.
KJ, live from Madison.
Yeah, I'm disappointed we got no genuine puns mixed in with that pony talk, but I see you in your Rashee Rice slander. I am really excited to be here on this momentous day, a day that will forever be remembered. A day when, we met earlier, we shot down a couple ideas. We're not going to be doing the steam room on Tu Wong Fu like a lot of people are hoping, but the internet is excited to hear our takes on Zeke coming back to the Cowboys. Like, I can't overstate how excited I've been all day for this.
Mm. How many tuds next year, KJ? Like 14?
He had 11 or 12 his last Cowboys season. I'm so ready for like 6 months of like Zeke promoting, only for him to have like a torn labrum the week before the game.
A torn labrum. Is that something he's battled?
I guess I was very, very hesitant to like complete the word because I knew that there were two doors available and one was wildly incorrect.
Yeah.
And I was not intending to go through that door.
Well, let me tell you, I don't know what that over-under is going to get set at, but I will go ahead and mash that over no matter what because they will force the ball to him. This man will be forced
100%.
to have no less than 8 touchdowns this year.
Also, their running back room is not great.
They signed a kid from Mizzou. Oh, here comes. Oh, my God.
Dude.
Oh.
We got Mullet Will in the building.
Oh, you got to show KJ.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Hold on.
Dude, it looks sick.
I'm kind of worried. Am I up?
You're up.
I'm kind of worried it's not mullety enough. Like, I need it to grow out a little bit in the back.
Yeah, thank you.
Dude, no, it's sick. I mean, yeah, you could use another couple weeks
I'm
of
uncomfortable.
growth.
That's okay. We have 2.5 weeks before I scheduled another appointment, 2.5 weeks. We'll see how the growth goes and go from there.
Will, dude, this is gonna be a Dave mustache bit where it's supposed to be like a couple weeks it's you now.
It's going to grow on you. It's going to turn from bit to just regular.
I'm going to start slamming beers out in the bullpen while you guys are recording.
Dude, you look like you could drink a zillion
Dude,
beers.
I might drink a zillion beers.
That's what you're giving.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving heavy drinker.
I don't know if you're going to like what I'm about to say, but it looks really good.
I need some product in it. I think we were kind of caught up in the shape of the mullet so much that we forgot to like do the little primping parts of it.
Don't let him announce it. He's going to try to cut you.
Right?
I
won't. I need some product in it to control the top and allow the back to flare out more.
That's a hot man.
KJ,
Dude, that's
did
a
you
mullet.
know?
That's a hot man.
I haven't seen that angle yet.
Dude.
Did you know this was happening?
I had no idea. I'm
Okay,
just
okay.
taking this all in for the first time. I know Will cannot hear me, but as a man who's completely ignorant to what the concept of product means for the white man, the top and the back looks great. The sides is the area that I feel like needs a little attention, but
He likes it.
otherwise, the man's a phenomenal look.
I'm translating right now.
I feel like an SEC court. Oh, you're
Sorry,
my.
I know.
He
I
doesn't
should
know
look
what
short.
product in the white people context. He doesn't know what product means.
I need some. I think in reality, what I need right now is some mousse.
Mousse.
Get some hair mousse going.
Some kind of
Maybe some clay for the top, but you don't want to put clay on the back because you want it to flare out a little bit.
You can clay it out back.
Clay.
I'm
Wow, he's a big stepper now.
He's fucking good.
I'm gonna wear a hat to the event I'm going to later this afternoon. I don't want to explain to anyone I see in public why I have a mullet right now.
Dude, I fucking like. I legit like it.
Hit this with the side profile. Hit the camera.
Dude, I feel like Morgan Wallen.
I was about to say I'd fuck with his Instagram.
Because he's got like a little
like
mini
he needs
mullet,
to be
right?
on the country music Instagram
You need to be on
tour
the
for
charts.
sure.
He thinks you're a country music.
Well, Brett and I are going to go make
Up-and-comer.
some songs while you guys record too much dip.
All right.
Okay.
Well, this
Okay.
is going to be
Wow.
tough to continue.
What
That's
a
okay.
reveal.
It's okay. I'm glad I could do it live on air for you guys.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Huge.
TTYL.
Boost
All
the numbies. Wow. We knew that was a possibility of him
Holy
bussing in
shit.
here.
You just busted.
Brett told me to.
Yeah, no, we wanted it. We
Oh,
wanted the
no.
bus. Looks good. Looks really good.
I'm
Yeah.
baffled, gentlemen. And you two knew this was happening. I had no idea, no earthly idea. And I will tell you this, that for listeners who do not check us out on YouTube very often, do that. This is an absolute must. And for anyone who doesn't know Will, I guarantee that their first opinion is going to be like, that dude's kind of alpha. Like
Yeah.
that levels his shit up.
I'm so glad that he came in and sat down next to Dylan and not me. Like, that's a tough look for you, honestly, because unless you want to look, Dylan's been given. I've given him an out on his bets. There's a few outstanding debts out there that need to be paid. I told him if he gets a South Dallas shag, all bets are paid, but he refuses to do it for some reason.
And what are you gonna do to make up for your?
My one?
Yeah,
My one?
yours was the easiest to do, and you didn't do it.
The combine?
No. That's okay. There are two.
I was about to say, I might
Arby's
argue
polo.
his wasn't the easiest.
All you do is wear an oversized Arby's polo to a bar.
Yeah.
You didn't do it.
That was like night one of potential partnership with the tour, and I didn't want to make it weird. I
That's
made it
one of
weird
their
later
partners.
on. Well, they were. But yes.
Years later, you can't still be holding the wall on why you didn't follow through.
I've worn the
You
polo
gotta be
since.
like, yeah, I should have done that one.
I've given Dylan an out. South Dallas shag. I don't know why he doesn't do it. He hasn't given me one good reason why he won't do it. What is it about it specifically? I don't.
I don't think it looks good.
Why
specifically,
though?
Because it's a buzz haircut up front and a tiny little mullet out back.
Okay.
Also, I don't see any white guys doing it.
Okay, I don't understand.
So I don't want to appropriate any cultures that might get me into trouble.
Like what? Like South Dallas?
Yeah.
You're not from South Dallas, so you feel weird. Okay, I get
You
it.
know what I mean?
That's
I don't want
fine.
South Dallas coming for me.
You know, you really don't, man.
I'm too Northwest
whip
Austin.
your ass,
I'm too
dude.
Northwest Austin for that smoke.
Okay, that's
All right?
fine. I was
Okay.
just trying to give you an option. No, this is making me very upset that I'm significantly balding and I can't do hair bits.
What about the Edgar? Can
Yeah.
Dylan hit an Edgar?
What's an Edgar?
Again with the appropriation.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, dude, you've seen it. You've
Okay.
definitely seen it.
You've
Look
seen
up.
it.
You don't know it yet. You probably
You live in
wonder.
Texas. You've seen it 10 times today.
Edgar.
I was thinking about doing the Shogun.
Oh, that's called the Edgar?
Yeah,
Dude, these are everywhere
they're
right
fucking
now.
everywhere.
They're
dude.
they're just perfectly straight across.
It's so good. I love that. I love that we live
I'm-
in the era of hair bits.
All the Hispanic
I
youths
don't.
have them.
Yes.
I'll quickly be old man yelling at cloud here because it's well documented the relationship between a black man and his barber is a sacred thing. No different than you fellas have an arrangement with your stylist or I guess stylist is what you'd call it, right? I don't know the official term, and I'm not joking. I just don't know. The increase of dreads and anything but an actual fade, I feel like is a threat to my ability to continue having a barber remain in business. It terrifies me. You look at any roster of any high school or college football team, you're going to see a bunch of Edgars, TikTok haircuts, Patrick Mahomes looks or dreadlocks. There are no more fades.
There is a
And
wild
it scares me.
array of like popular haircuts these days amongst Gen Z, and I guess it trickles into millennials.
Sure. Okay, I got a question.
My son, by the way, 9 years old, just growing an absolute shag right now. It looks
Fuck
fucking
yeah.
dope.
Good for him.
He looks awesome.
He's going to have fucking lines in his head, isn't he?
He did.
Oh, he's already done that. He got a skin fade.
Oh, is that where it's coming from? Oh, yeah.
He got it like a fade with lines, which is why the Will thing. That's why that became an odds bet.
God, we got to get him some Macho Man glasses.
Yeah.
Or whatever you call that style of glasses. Like that's almost standard issue now for his generation too. I feel like
KJ, I've got a question. We're drifting so far off this rundown, but this is
it
more
does
fun.
not matter.
This is more fun. Okay, so me, 39-year-old white guy, KJ, when you moved to Madison, when you moved to Wisconsin, and it comes time to figure out, all right, what am I going to do with my hair? How do you go about tracking down the barber?
You want the 100% honest answer?
Yes.
After a week or so of Googling, I basically resolved to waiting until I came back to Texas. So I went like a good 3 months. And then the first like tip that came to me as far as like how to find a barber came from the same exact person who you would most likely expect to be wearing a South Dallas shag. Won't even go into names. Might sell you some Akiashi beef at some point in time. But he happened to have had the plug of, hey, when we were touring with, this rap artist or that rap artist, here's how they found barbers. And had to rely upon that app.
Got it.
Embarrassing.
Okay. Yeah, because
it was not easy. That's a long-winded way to say, like, I had to go, like, to the third-party referral system.
Because Brett famously, when he moved here, he flew to New York City to get his haircut. I don't know if people remember that, Randy. I know you did.
Like more than once.
It's a little unfair. There's more to it, but there was a haircut involved.
And it was like a $300 haircut or something wild like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, when I lived in Austin for a little over a year, I got my haircut there 2 or 3 times. I drive back to Dallas regularly to get my hair cut by my barber. And the place that I got it cut in Austin, 100% Mexican establishment. And like, fortunately, I could name 2 or 3 like late 90s Raiders. And then we got along quite well.
Okay. You know what? I may have gone to that place because Micah and our friend Brad Key used to go to a guy named Zeke.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was Zeus.
Zeus, not Zeke. Zeke.
Over if it's off like Congress and Old Torfish.
It
probably is.
It is. And I went there once and it's sick. And they give you like, they line you up. It's solid. Mm-hmm. If I was still going for that short haircut, I would be going there.
Micah, for his St. Patrick's Day party, saw him. He had like a fresh, like skin fade, like all the way down.
Yeah.
He was, fresh out the barber.
Yeah.
He's still doing it, man.
Damn. I need to go back to him. If I me, I'm kind of I don't know. I'm in no man's land right now. I'm going to get little scissors, little scotch when I get my haircut. I don't know. One day I'll go back to Zeus. He's the guy. He's got Brad looking right still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Zeke's a cowboy. It's a long way of getting there, but we got there. So
really excited about Zeke back in blue and silver.
Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle is your RB1. I don't care what the depth chart says.
Okay.
That's all.
No one's pretending that Zeke's RB1, right?
I think a lot of people are pretending.
Everybody said Tony Pollard was 2 years ago, and Zeke, I think, outtouched him and outscored him, right?
I believe so.
Didn't out average him, but I think that was the case.
Is this a bridge year? Is this like a?
Yeah.
We know we're not.
This isn't
it's a
the
lame
year.
duck year.
We're gonna put Zeke behind an O line with 2 rookies.
Gonna extend CD for way too much money. You see how much AJ Brown got?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's a tough time. What do you got?
I'd like to just make the observation to all of the haters out there, of which there are many. Yes, in fact, this sports podcast, days after the NFL draft ended, in the midst of NHL and NBA playoffs, as expected, Zeke has to be the leadoff. And I have no hard feelings about it because it's fucking ridiculous for a team like that to cuck their whole draft, attention-wise.
It's the funniest football story going right now. It is. We're not spending more than a couple minutes on it, but it is by far the most ridiculous, funny thing in the NFL today. So we had to at least allude to it because it does connect us to the draft.
Yeah, Jerry Jones very publicly fell in love with Jonathan Brooks, the running back out of Texas, who was the first running back off the board.
Smoke screen.
That was it?
Got their ass.
Was it?
I don't know. You don't know.
So what avail?
Because then they didn't pick a running back at all.
No, I think it was Brooks or Bust.
I don't know.
That's the name of my country duo, Brooks and Bust. We're not good.
Right. Yeah, it must have been a smokescreen. I mean, I think they probably would have drafted him had he fallen to them at 52.
Who took him? Indy?
Carolina.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Wow.
That offense stinks, baby.
I mean, I'd like him as a kid and as a player. I hate when people get drafted to Carolina now. A lot of stank on that franchise at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what do you want to do with the draft. It says here you want to lead with Detroit. I loved it.
Yeah.
I love the presentation.
We started the bit. Yeah, I don't know when we started the city bit, when we moved away from New York. It's probably been 5 or 6 years, but the ones that come to mind, I think we had Vegas last year where they did some of the picks in front of the Bellagio. The year before that, or a few years back, we got the bachelorette parties complaining about not knowing the draft was in Nashville and that entirely shutting down the city. I don't think we'll see comparable stories out of Detroit as bachelorette parties don't occur there, but every fucking human in the state of Michigan was there and it looked dope. Well done.
Yeah. They had the Goodell Eminem thing. Cool. It's cool of Eminem to take interest and to jump in. He doesn't do much these days, from what I can tell. KJ could speak to that more than me. But they had him out there. They brought out the legends, the Megatrons, the Barry Sanderses. They had Barry Sanders doing a Bud Light activation somewhere later the next day. So, you know what? Cool. Have Detroit go off.
I just thought
Kings.
it was cool how many people showed up.
It's crazy.
Between 150 and 200,000 was the number I saw being thrown around.
What does it get to get Dylan Shivery to go to the draft as a fan?
I was just asking myself the same question. Of course, no reason it would be in Austin, but if it was in my city, would I show up? Probably not.
It would have to be at Zilker.
Yeah. It'd have to be next door to where I am.
It couldn't be in your city and whatever Frank Irwin's called now, somewhere else in town. It would need to be
at the end of the day,
inconveniently walkable.
You're standing at a mass of people and there's just a stage with a podium and someone walks up and reads a name and walks off. There's not a whole lot to it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's what the spectacle is just not it's not worth the squeeze for me.
How much of the live show did you watch, David? At least night 1 or 2 or so, or whatever.
So I don't know if there was a ball. I'm trying to remember what was on. If it was Stars Night. It was conflicting with something I was watching. So I had it on my phone.
Got it.
And I only there's a draft show that I tend to listen to on the ticket. And I will listen to it for the Cowboys picks just for immediate feedback. But that's it. But I did watch the first 10 picks for the most part. So I know what went down.
To Dylan's point, the pageantry of the event definitely outweighs the actual content, but they try to fill the gaps of 10-minute, 8-minute rounds, whatever, with what appeared to be maybe they were bigger than this. I didn't see the name of them, but the Spasmatics, essentially. It looked like the all-time great wedding cover band. I know that doesn't apply to anybody.
No, I know. It's just
Texas.
I forgot about the Spasmatics.
Whatever. But it looked like a wedding cover band, but they were rotating singers. And the only way I even recognize this because they had one female lead singer who never stopped dancing. And it wasn't like dancing, background dancing. It was lead singer, wedding singer, like tapping the feet, keeping the beat, like keeping the crowd hype the entire show. It was giving like me sweaty pitch, just being like, my heart rate is elevated, not because, oh my gosh, this lady's hot, but because I'm just tired.
Was she hot though?
Exhausting. 3 straight days. I have no idea. They never like showed a close up. You could just see a person dancing the entire time for 3 days. And it was a lot. Other than that, you would boo the commissioner and they would throw every force field known to man against the crowd. You got veterans.
I saw that.
Disabled. The Jags. I'm not going to make a joke of it, but they announced their pick at one point, and the guy was like, give a shout out to my family. My baby sister passed last night. Like, the amount of like sad things that they would pack in there and be like, now we're going to announce the pick. Greatest moment of somebody else's life following this. That's a lot.
Yeah, I did tune in to see the vets come out and then like Lee Greenwood get played, which I have no problem with. I just feel like there's got to be a different song at this point. Like, I feel like we're kind of in a post Lee Greenwood being the patriotic song world, right? I don't know who's next
We
up.
could have gone Toby the year of his death. I'm sure he had one that wasn't like straight vulgar.
Yeah, I don't know if Boot in the Ass definitely plays with the NFL crowd. I don't know if it plays with the Journo crowd. So I don't know. That one's tough. But yeah, Lee Greenwood, we're still doing. It just didn't really fit draft. You see what I'm saying? Which is ironic.
I see where you're going with this.
It's an irony play.
The only other pick I do want to talk about is probably the one we've all heard a lot about. Falcons at 10. Unless you have other hot sports opinions about Cowboys draft.
No.
Or anybody else.
None whatsoever. If
you're Kirk Cousins, how are you feeling Friday morning, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised and a little pissed probably. They didn't I know nothing about the inner workings of the NFL front office, but I would think that they would at least, hey man, we might pick a quarterback if it's there. If our guy's there at 10, we might go with the quarterback just so you know. But for him to be totally surprised, caught off guard by that, it seems like a pretty poor move. The guy has a 4-year. He's signed for 4 years with Atlanta, and it's not like the guy is like guaranteed. A young project either. Penix.
He's like 24, right?
He's 24, and he's like, I don't know. It's a weird move.
Yeah, and I like how immediate they were to get reaction from his agent, through his agent.
Yeah.
That's always my favorite. It's like, oh, we're surprised. Oh, huh. He's a little surprised. That's all we're saying. Didn't expect this.
Is the plan to
sit him his agent
for 4 years?
Sorry.
I was going to say, is the plan to sit him for 4 years and let Kirk finish his contract there? I'm like, all right, let's go with this 28-year-old.
That's pretty wild to think about when you put it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the immediate comps were Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, but that was a completely different scenario. Like, Aaron Rodgers had been there. As Dylan pointed out, like, you just signed this guy and Kirk Cousins, and at $100 million guaranteed, $180 million like potential contract, like, you're not moving that. Either Kirk Cousins proves he's worth it and you don't want to send him anywhere, or he's unsuccessful and you're going to eat a Russell Wilson sandwich in like 18 months. Like, that's not going to be fun. But the element of, I guess, frustration that I could not sympathize, but like definitely vibe with is if you're a rookie quarterback or a first round draft pick, you get put on 4-year contract with a 5th year being a team option. So you get a 5-year deal. But it's pretty common and understood that like it's your second contract that is where you're going to go make all that money. So if you're Penix, the best you want to hope for is either you get an early opportunity and you succeed and you earn that second payday in Atlanta, or you pull the Matt Flynn for those of us, old enough, you may recall, you get no exposure and you pick up a second contract somewhere else purely on that potential, and you get overpaid somewhere else, and hopefully it works out. But that
Garoppolo.
sucks to be in that position. Garoppolo, same situation. Great, much more relevant callback.
Dude, not to mention that offense could use a lot of help elsewhere.
You're set at running back.
Your
Set at
receivers.
tight end, but
Receiver 1 is Drake London. Receiver 2 is Darnell Mooney. Like you could use some help there.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, so the way you win now, the thought is like you get your franchise quarterback and you win while he's on his rookie deal. And
That's the way.
So maybe you have Kirk for 2 years, barring like catastrophic injury or something, or him just being really, really bad. He doesn't get the rock until like he's got 2 years left on his rookie deal. And when it's time to re-up, is that enough time to tell this 27-year-old quarterback like if he's good enough, worthy of a second? It's just it's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know what Atlanta sports radio looks like, but I can imagine the calls today because I'm actually finally just like thinking through this, and it's way more insane right now. I did not realize how the wide receiver room, how poor that was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe I'm not giving them credit, but those aren't names that you're like crazy about.
There's not a position where a team could get away with doing something similar. I feel like maybe like let's say you have two assumingly stud defensive ends, and you draft an edge rusher. You could probably try to sell around it by like, we're going to get the three of them rotating through, get one on the field. Like you can get behind that. But if my team has a Bijan Robinson and I turn around and do that this year, like you're going to be pissed off, like wasted, resource, so to speak. You could have traded that pick and done so many other things. Like
a strong wide receiver draft too.
Yeah. And
where got so many studs.
Where did they get him at? Was it 8?
8 or 10? You said 10. Is it 10 or 8?
Yeah. I think it was.
I think 10, but I'm not. I don't quote me.
It was top 10.
Okay. And there were so many good receivers on the board still.
So many.
Oh, that's fucking crazy. Oh,
Don't
man.
Don't get it.
Makes me forget that we just re-signed Zeke. I don't know if we covered that. We definitely did.
Hey, I don't know why I keep screaming 10. Yeah, JJ McCarthy was 10. I'm sorry.
That's right.
8.
I think I was going off of the numbers we saw all weekend of 6 out of 12 or 5 out of 12 quarterbacks. 1, 2,
even
3, 4, 5. 5 quarterbacks in the top 12, and then not another until Rattler. So
I was gonna say Rattler was right there to be taken too at 8. So
you could have traded back with the Broncos theoretically. Let's say you trade from 8 to 12, and you draft Bo Nix. Like lower value mistake that you're making, but you're picking up another draft pick from the Broncos. Not that they'd have anything to give, but still, like there's so many things you could have done if you were hard set on getting a quarterback. And
we have the video of Arthur Blank in the war room, and we don't know exactly what was exchanged there because there's no mic, but he looked like he was asking for an explanation from their GM. You can see that, the video I'm talking about?
Yeah. What I was going to say was like, forgive me if they've explained this, but like the only thing it could be is like, we don't need a quarterback, but we love this dude so much. If he's there, he won't be there. But if he's there for some reason at 8, we're taking him. Like, this is the dude. We loved him. We had him out. Everything about this kid, we want him no matter what. It's such a hard sell.
Yeah. Real quick on Texas, if you'll give me the floor. 11 draft picks. So Sarkisian inherited the team with a pretty depleted roster. 0 draft picks his first year, 5 last year, 11 this year. You got to like the way that's trending. Michigan, of course, led all schools with 13 draft picks. Pretty freaking impressive. I like what Sark's doing, man.
Xavier Worthy.
To KC.
That's not fair.
He's fast.
Everybody, I kind of underplayed how good he was in college. I felt like he had dropped some balls in big moments, but that's still pretty insane.
Yeah, he's
for him to end up there.
He's underrated as a route runner. People think he's just a pure speed guy, and he's not. I'm excited, man. I mean, it gives me a reason to like pull for the Chiefs. So that's kind of fun for me, you know.
Wow, an alliance with Lubbock. Finally,
No. An alliance with the Chiefs only.
Oh man, if they
Not
draft
with
Jaquin, if they get Jaquindon next year, look out.
Yeah. Texas, by the way, has had 4 running backs drafted in the past 2 drafts, which is pretty sick.
Yeah. Shout out, KJ. How you feeling about your Jags? I genuinely don't know what the Jags did.
They went wide receiver in the first round. Brian Thomas, the other wide receiver that's not Malik Neighbors, picked up about 1,200 yards or so from Jaden Daniels. I mean, similar to the Cowboys draft, and I only mention the Cowboys often because it's the sports media I consume the most. There were a lot of holes to be filled. I would probably have contended that, like, go ahead and pick a lineman. It's dumb, it's safe, but you're also dealing with a quarterback that, when healthy, makes the difference between being like a borderline tier 2 to tier 1 quarterback to, when playing with a damaged shoulder like he did, to being the absolute worst quarterback in the league, like throwing 6 or 7 interceptions over the last 2 or 3 games. And with what the AFC South looks like nowadays, with the Texans threatening, we don't need more receivers. We need some stability at quarterback and playmakers on defense. So, there's my Jags spiel.
Okay. Spencer Rattler, most polarizing player in the draft.
Yeah, so apparently you guys see the reality show that he did as a senior in high school called QB1?
QB1?
That was getting talked about a lot because apparently he acted like such a jackass on the show that it was scaring some teams away.
Yeah.
I watched a clip of it. Someone posted it to Twitter and I watched it, and he was a total jackass.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what it would look like if there were a video of me at 17 or 18.
Right.
I mean, that's
sorry guys, I'm skipping Kim. I've got Netflix is here. They want to talk with me real quick.
Yeah. Look, he was humbled in college, you'd think, right? I mean, quite a bit.
Well, he lost his J to Caleb Williams at OU.
Yeah, which
transferred.
No, in retrospect, not a ton of shame in that, but
no.
I don't know. I saw a lot of people like freaking out that he slipped so far. Like, how is this even possible? People were freaking out he slipped past the second round. Yeah. Honestly.
I think he's a good example of what we're going to see. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens with the draft and projecting talent over the next few years when you deal with so many players that go through 2 or 3 offenses with the portal, similar to what Spencer Rattler did. And then on the flip side, we've had it for several years, but by the time people are drafted, you can watch every single throw in a game that a quarterback has made, probably since junior high if you really wanted to. Spencer Rattler even more so. Like, you not only can see every single throw, but you can see what his maturation was as a person dating back to 17 to 21. And every other quarterback who arrives is like a national or, on the draft stage, like it as a sophomore or junior, Jaden Daniels coming to mind. Like, there was some national following, but nothing like what he had this year when he won the Heisman. People weren't figuring out like who he was as a person until just this year. Spencer Rattler's had that out, as you mentioned, for 5.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what's that going to do to quarterbacks over the next few years when you're dissecting these kids for 6, 7, 8 years, not just on the field, but like socially? I don't know. It's going to be wild.
Yeah. We'll see if he ends up being a prize pick or not that late in the game.
Nice.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app. With more than 3 million members, it is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and more today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports apps. Prize Picks has something for every sports fan, from basketball and hockey to League of Legends, Randy, and everything in between. You can pick LeBron, Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, all in the same entry. Prize Picks is the best way to get in on the action on sports in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Prize Picks now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this basketball season. We're big fans. Download the app today and use code DIP. That's DIP for a first deposit match up to $100. Download the app today. Code DIP for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. I was watching some basketball over the weekend. I was watching some basketball last night. Been watching a lot of basketball. Biggest takeaways. I'm not going to make this all about the Mavs, but KJ, I see you have honed in on one Luka Doncic.
As I was going through the bracket, because I've watched a lot of the Mavs, a lot of the Timberwolves series, and kept an eye on the Bucks Pacers since it's local. I saw the quote come out of yesterday's game in which the Mavericks were down 31?
31.
It's like 31 points in this game. Got it down to 3, I believe, and ended up losing by 7 or 8 points.
Took a 1-point lead at one
to
point.
the Clippers. Oh, wow. I guess I missed that part. So knocked out a 31-point deficit, which is insane. And the talk around Dallas sports has always been like, how are the Mavericks going to position the team to keep Luka happy beyond his current contract, beyond his like supermax right now, to keep him from ring chasing and leaving at his next available opportunity. People viewed KP as a solution, didn't work out. Kyrie is the next like an only option. Questions were out, but I think that I'm certainly one of those who've been like happy with what the relationship has been like. And then the quote after last night's game, Luka's dealing with a knee contusion issue, hurt knee. He feels like his scoring issues right now and fighting through this injury are letting Kyrie down. And I thought that was maybe the first sight that I've seen into Luka as like a mega superstar. Not saying like it's his only humble point, but like that changed my perspective of like what it looks like Luka and this team long term. That was cool.
Yeah, we'll get to the actual game here in a sec. But yeah, that quote, you kind of love to see it. It's like a side of him you never have seen, kind of what you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't really released, I don't know what the extent of the knee injury is. It's probably nothing structural. It's probably just hurts, and it's clearly hurting. He's slower than he normally is. You see him laboring a little bit. But they don't come anywhere close to winning that game without Kyrie. Kyrie went like absolutely insane. Did you watch any of that game, Dylan? Because the Clippers, when I say like they didn't miss, it was like 65% from 3 in the first half. It was unreal. I've never seen shooting like that.
It was on. I caught a few minutes of it, and I saw that the Clippers jumped out to a big lead. So I do have some context of what you're talking about. Yeah,
it was everything they put up went in.
Yeah.
It was video game shit. You're watching it, and you're just like, there's really nothing you can do.
Right.
It's not even bad. It wasn't great defense, but at some point you knew that they weren't going to shoot like that in the second half, and they didn't. But yeah, to the Mavs' credit, they fought mainly because of Kyrie. I think in this series, I've seen enough to know, like, yeah, hobbled Luka, like the ball going through his hands much more than Kyrie. That's probably not going to win them this series. I think you're going to have to lean much more on him. But then again, it's 2-2. It's Luka's quote, you'd think they were down 3-1 or something, right? It's 2-2, and they have an extra off day. They've got that travel day built in. Don't play again until Wednesday night. I'm not panicking. I did sadly have to watch the game on my laptop as my son watched Paw Patrol. And being big mad watching a game on your laptop is just so defeating. It's not fun.
I'll one up you there. And Kai's almost 4. And so we are in peak, like if we don't nap, it's full-blown tantrum city. And the only place he will nap is the car. And so inevitably weekends end up one of two ways. Like we go do something, park, whatever, or I get them in the car and I've got to go for a drive. So I'm watching that like at a reasonable pace in a safe area where I was not endangering anyone's lives on my phone in said vehicle, like until I could get to the park and like sit there and watch it on my phone.
Dude, Rhodes doesn't nap. Like he only naps at school, if he naps at all. We don't even try on weekends. Is that what the problem is? It has to be.
I have no idea, man. No idea. I wish I had answers in that department. You know what? Hit me up. Don't hit me on the dip line. Hit me on the DMs if you feel like you're just got all the answers on the 4-year-old, because the man's just wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
on the weekends.
Once dinner time rolls around, it is a tough scene. Suns got their ass swept. What a disaster. KD, Book, Beal. What an absolute
Bradley Beal,
disaster.
Frank
Min-
Vogel.
In Minnesota, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And KD had some very glowing remarks about Anthony Edwards after the game. Big fan of his. That dude's he's going to run the league, man. I love watching that kid play.
Yeah, he's about to be the face of the league, it appears. He probably already would be if he didn't play in Minnesota, which is unfortunate, but it's true. I mean, he put him on one of the coasts, and that's all we're talking about. But yeah, they look like monsters, man. And for the Suns to go out so sad is just crazy. Not shocking. I mean, it's shocking to get swept, but like if you watch the Suns at all this year, you knew that was not going to be something that worked. Best case scenario, they win a playoff series, but they were never beating Minnesota.
I think the Lakers getting one against the Nuggets makes this look so much worse because nobody expected anything from the Suns playoff run wise, but you figured experience versus the Timberwolves might matter. It did not. It did not at all. Rudy Gobert is a legitimate force to be reckoned with. Karl Anthony Towns is a superstar, and Anthony Edwards completely wipes their name off the board, off the headlines with how he controls games. And that's incredible to see. Like you don't see, maybe the Grizzlies are like the closest, most recent, teams with two bigs, and then Mike Conley Jr. as like the superstar. And then, hell, ironically, Mike Conley's there too. That's the closest I can come to a recent example of you've got two bigs and then somebody else just completely steals the show. So I don't know, man. It's a lot of fun to see. I threw on here all the other series aside from the Mavs or notable series. We've got Nuggets are up 3-1. Pacers are up 3-1 on the Bucks. So Lakers, Bucks are down. And then the Pelicans, probably not as relevant given that the Pelicans only have Zion and he's hurt. But we're looking at a second round without LeBron, without Giannis, without Dame, without Zion, without KD. I guess you could throw Booker and Beal. We're losing a lot of star power. And let's say the Mavs win, you're losing Paul George, you're losing Kawhi, you're losing James Harden, Russ Westbrook. It's going to be interesting what round 2 looks like and how many people are locked in knowing that you've got a lot of the new faces in round 2.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Oh, and Embiid. Embiid's the other one that you won't have. I'm sorry.
Dude, speaking of Embiid, so we didn't talk about the Bell's palsy diagnosis because I don't think that came out till last
Monday or
week.
Tuesday.
That series is wild. You've got I know Philly's it's not far. It's got a lot of Knicks fans who make that trip. Kind of crazy to see Knicks fans take over in Philly. Not what you want to see if you're Embiid or any of those guys. Got to be really defeating. You got to have some balls to go into Philly as a New York fan and really start mouthing off, and that's pretty. You know what I mean? I've watched enough Cowboys Eagles games to know that that's not safe.
I think the Bing Bong video, the hype reel for Bing Bong, has sold me on Knicks fans being delusional anyway. So I can only imagine what the arena smelled like and or sounded like in Philly for this game. And it was on the weekend too. There's no excuse for this.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jalen Brunson. put up a career high 47 in game 3, I guess. Maybe 42, I don't know. But he's wrecking shop. New York's got a lot to celebrate as we pivot to NHL.
Love to see it. Anybody else stay up till 1:15 Central Time watching Stars Knights?
I was really tempted to, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't, because there's nothing more deflating than.
Honestly, I'm glad that since you did, it worked out for you.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ride this out. If there's gonna be an overtime game that goes this late, at least it's on Saturday night. And you know what? Wyatt Johnson converted. That was a really fun game. We got a game tonight. We got game 4. I don't really know what to make of this series. I thought we had the better goaltender. That has not been the case. Your guy standing on his head, as they say.
He did not look good game 1, by the way.
No, he gave up that really, really iffy one to I can't even remember, but it's been a weird series. It's been close, which you love to see. I would not be shocked if the Stars tied up tonight. This thing goes 7.
I will be watching tonight.
I hope that's the case.
Is it like a 9:30 puck drop?
8:30.
Okay, not so bad this time.
Not so bad, but still not great.
Yeah.
If there's any kind of OT, we're looking at well past midnight.
Mm-hmm.
KJ, what are the vibes up there?
I fear the 7-game series because every other series it's not the Rangers swept the Capitals. Every other series 3-1. So the Stars would be setting themselves up likely for playing whoever who's had like a good amount of rest if they were to advance out of a 7-game series. I threw the stat on there about the Avalanche and the Pegs. I'm going to go with the Pegs, by the way. Their series having 34 goals in the first 4 games. I'm sure it popped up on screen for this series, and I'm sure they've talked about it. But I did a little research online, if you will. Most goals, total goals over a 7-game series, no matter the length of the series. Any guesses of what the total goals scored record is for the NHL?
Oh, over a 7-game series?
It doesn't even have to go 7. So like any length of games. And this is at 34 in 4 games.
52.
I was going to say 41.
Not nice enough. 69 is the record in a 6-game series, and 85 between Edmonton and the Blackhawks.
Tough series for the
Mark
goalies.
Messier.
They didn't know what they had.
Yeah, there was like a couple double-digit, maybe 3 different double-digit games in there. So I have no idea how the fuck it happened. I'd love to go back and see it. I'm sure there's a documentary on it, but that blew my mind. In a 6-game series.
Did the sports writers do it justice? Did they hit it with a nice?
I'll go back and search the microfiche for the original headlines.
Microfiche.
Yeah, please do. The microfiche.
I haven't heard that term in so long.
God, what a beating that was. Did you ever have a project where you had to do that?
Report.
Absolutely.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
You had to study Dewey Decimal at one point in your life too, and they completely threw that shit out the window like the last few years.
Fuck
They were like,
Dewey.
"Hey, Pluto, fuck you, Dewey Decimal, you're out too."
Randy, do you have any idea what
Mavs.
microfiche even is?
I think I know. It's like the microfilm, right?
Yeah.
Or something like I know what it is, but we never had to use it.
Will's probably going to start posting on Scaries with it or some shit.
yeah, probably so.
Oh, shit. Let's party. You want to party real quick?
Let's do it.
This is the part of the show where we party. We talk about other things that we have not talked about. That kind of just a lot going on. Did you guys see Rory singing Journey after him and Shane Lowry? Shane Dog won.
I did. Yeah.
Was that epic, bro?
Where were they when that happened?
It looked like at under a pavilion at the course,
Is
kind of
that-
like the party
okay.
plaza type deal.
Is that a
At
response
the Breaker
to
Pavilion.
live
Sure felt like it.
Australia? It was in Australia, right?
Yeah.
And they actually had like a decent turnout for once, and they did like champagne, presentation, like spraying champagne everywhere.
Doing shoeies.
They're doing like the F1 shit.
Yeah, it has to be.
Right.
And it worked out really well that those two guys, Rory, like not the face of the tour, but the face of, your guy, came back and won it with Shane Lowry. as opposed to, fucking, I don't know who was. I didn't watch much of it, like JT Poston or something. No offense. He's been catching strays from us. But yeah, that, got to say, didn't sound terrible.
Yeah.
It felt, while it was clearly forced, it didn't feel as forced as I thought it was going to when I saw the clip. So, whatever. Reggie Bush got his Heisman back.
Needed to happen. Should have been Vince Young's Heisman, but it needed to happen.
This the Manziel effect, KJ?
Yeah, Manziel got this done. We did the, not really story, but we talked about it, I don't know, a month or two ago. Johnny Manziel said he would not be attending any Heisman ceremonies unless Reggie Bush got his Heisman back. He made that announcement in February. Here we are in April. 2 months later, Heisman House has opened its doors because they want Johnny there. Reggie will be there as well.
Huge.
Looking forward to the ad campaign.
His 05 highlight reel is pretty dirty. I forgot how good he was. I went back and watched some of it when this news came out, and that guy was so dirty.
Very much so. Untimely fumble, though.
Yeah, well, he pitched it.
That's what it was. Yeah,
he pitched it, and there was no one there to catch it. So
you hate to see that.
I didn't. I loved.
Shout out to Lindell White.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I get thinking about Reggie Bush, I always for some reason pivot to, and there was Lindell White. Like that was the era of you needed two running backs of different stature. Lindell was eaten.
Who they had in the game on that 4th and 2 in the fourth quarter that completely switched the momentum back over to Texas. They got about 1.5 yards with Lindell holding the rock. A lot of people question that, but he was the short yardage guy. So
he was their Zeke.
You want another name? I saw this weekend Quentin Jammer. Shout out to him too.
Oh,
no reason, just saw him on a list. Shout out to Quentin Jammer.
Love that.
Quentin Jammer was awesome.
Did you guys see the video of the UGA, the Georgia pitcher?
Yeah,
adding something to his glove.
Walk me through this.
I didn't think it was that crazy.
All right, so there's in the UGA. So they played Texas A&M over the weekend, who was ranked number 1 in the country, and there's this pitcher's in the bullpen, and a fan, I think, just films him, and he walks to the corner of the bullpen, hiding from view of everyone. He squats down, and you can't tell exactly what he's doing, but he's reaching for something, and he touches his glove, stands back up, and gets his bullpen reps in. And then later he's in the game, and there's a clear video of him taking his glove off and rubbing his throwing hand on a certain part of the glove, and he's currently under investigation if what I saw on Twitter is accurate. So it looks pretty damning. It honestly does.
Didn't we just hear, or haven't we heard, this is every pitcher ever? This is how they grip the ball.
Yeah, the Killian Murphy lookalike said that.
Tyler Glasnow. Right?
Glasnow, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I did see A&M Twitter trying to make this the end of the world.
All over it. Yeah.
And I'm sure the guy will get suspended, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. What else? Tell me about Jaden Rashada.
Jaden Rashada, you may recall him from calling out Billy Napier and the Florida Gators 2 years ago when he was coming out of high school. He was promised somewhere in the realm of $250,000 to commit, and Florida boosters basically were like, yeah, we ain't got it. Or they weren't willing to cut the check anymore as signing day neared. So he bailed, went to Arizona State. He is now in the transfer portal or transferring to Georgia, where you got to imagine the bag came calling. So the man's getting paid. I'm not here to speak to his quality or worthiness of whatever money he's chasing down, but akin to the Spencer Rattler talk from earlier, we're now going to be able to have a SPO track on these college kids when we're went from here to here for this contract to this contract and performed at this level. So things are wild out there.
And finally, Phil Simms out, Boomer Esiason out as well. Matt Ryan in.
Really?
It says here, CBS trades 2-for-1 milquetoast quarterbacks. Who?
Fair.
Yeah,
I did learn that that's how you spell milk toast in this context.
I learned something today too.
Milk toast.
Yeah, I will say that Boomer Sison is quite popular on like WFAN, New York radio. He does like Boomer used to do it with the guy who got busted for gambling or giving out gambling advice on air. And he does decent. So he's got some personality. The CBS pregame show has always been pretty bland. Phil Simms, in my opinion, all-time loaded. I didn't realize he was like a John Madden like counterpart, where their answer, John Madden, was like calling Super Bowls in previous years. But he's trash on this setting. I'm not a Chris Simms fan either. So like both of them need to be off TV. I'm glad this happened. Happy retirement.
Bill Simms lost his gig to Romo when Romo came on there, and then now he lost it to Matt Ryan. Just tough scene. He'll be fine.
Don't forget that Chris Simms and Kyle Shanahan have each other's initials tattooed on their ankles. As they were big buds at Texas.
That is true. That is a true statement.
If only they just joined a frat instead.
They should have.
Should have joined a frat.
They could have got a symbolic bid.
Little KA.
Why not, man? Why not? All right, let's run it back.
All right, let's run it back to the segment where we talk about what we already talked about. Will has a mullet. He feels like Morgan Wallen, he said.
That's tough.
Dylan will not get a South Dallas fade, nor will he get an Edgar, which is the name of a haircut that I have seen all over the place and just now learned what it's called. KJ referenced microfiche. Will is about to start using microfiche on Sunday Scaries. And finally, Chris Simms and Kyle Shanahan have each other's initials tattooed on their ankles. Never forget.
Brothers for life.
Also, they should have joined a frat.
Will keeps calling me.
What?
I'll leave that reference for later.
Okay. Over my head.
All right. And that concludes Run It Back.
All right. What a way to end, KJ.
It's whatever. It's all good. I will give us this credit for an episode that felt like we were probably going to be long by about 15 minutes. Clocking that bad boy under an hour. Shocked.
Yeah. And we even had Will come in here and do his thing.
A fun derail.
I'm about to go run my hands right through that thing.
It's hot. All right. Good stuff, guys.
Toodaloo.
Bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.